Much for that report. Well, the holidays can be full of cheer and a lot of stress from long hours of shopping, baking, traveling, gift wrapping, and all that partying. And it really can zap our energy, and many of us might just gravitate to going for a cup of joe to help us power through it all. But health experts say you should be cautious about just how much caffeine you're actually consuming.
Dr. Corey Goldstein from Rush University Medical Center joins us this afternoon to help us answer the question of how much is too much. Dr. Goldstein, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so start us off with just a general rule of thumb for caffeine consumption.
Well, I think caffeine consumption depends on each individual person. Some people can handle a lot more than others. There is something certainly to be said about your ability to tolerate it just based on how much you drink on a daily basis. So somebody that never uses caffeine or rarely uses caffeine is certainly going to have a lot more effect, at any one given time that they do it. Most people who drink for example, coffee in the morning every day are pretty much used to it. So, that's probably the most significant issue. The FDA does indicate that approximately 400 milligrams per day is on average what is recommended. However, being realistic, that's not that much when it comes down to, for example, most of the major coffee chains.
You know, Dr. Goldstein, caffeine is obviously in the spotlight right now, considering that Panera faces a second lawsuit for this lemonade that is considered to be charged lemonade. It is caffeinated. How much is too much in a case like this?
Well, I understand that, this is certainly an issue in particular with this charged lemonade. But the reality is that if you look at the major brands of coffee in the country and around the world, it's really not that dissimilar to the amount of caffeine in a medium or a large cup of coffee. There is some variation depending on drink to drink to drink, cup of coffee to cup of coffee, even at the same chain. But I don't know that Panera in particular has a major issue on their hands because like I said, they're really not that much off from other major brands of even coffee.
Got it. Okay. So in terms of the negative impacts of too much caffeine, is it limited to not being able to fall asleep and the health, the stuff that's harmful from not getting enough sleep, or does it go beyond that?
Well, I think the really big issue with excessive caffeine intake has to do with the fact that it is a stimulant. And just based on the previous segment that you had, the reality is there are a small number of people in our society, well, statistically speaking small, but numerically speaking large, who might have a cardiac defect, a heart defect that puts them at risk when they do use too much stimulant of any kind, and that includes caffeine. And that goes to the heart of this issue that you brought up earlier. Some people just cannot handle that much stimulant. The same goes for, in some cases, even exercise. Too much exercise in the setting of a cardiac defect can itself bring on an arrhythmia, which is an irregular heart rhythm, which puts a person at significant risk for passing out or even much more significant problems.
All right. Well, Dr. Corey Goldstein from Rush University Medical Center, we appreciate you coming on and explaining all of that for our viewers. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
All right. Time to take a live look outside.